I was in 8th grade when this happened. I went to a pretty large school out in Oregon. That morning, we had a lockdown drill. These were super common and recognizable at my school. All the teachers would warn us ahead of time to save the panic. A short buzzer would go off, and then our principal would go on the intercom and give this huge spiel about how this was a lockdown drill. He would say that during a real lockdown the buzzer would play for longer and he wouldn't do any announcements. We all shut the curtains and sat in the classroom during the drill. It was over before we knew it, and we were able to go on with the rest of the school day. But as the day progressed, this picture kept circulating. From the glances I got, it was a picture of some notebook paper. I assumed it was something personal that somebody lost, and everybody was just being dicks and showing it around, so I didn't even ask to see it. Finally, it was the second to last period of the day. I ducked out of the class to use the restroom, but while I was at the sink, the buzzer went off again. It was so long I wanted to cover my ears. There was no announcements and no explanation, which meant a real lockdown. You're supposed to stay where you are. In my case, I was supposed to lock myself inside one of the stalls. But I was not about to sit there and wait for whatever intruder could be here to barge into the bathroom and find me in such a vulnerable position. Screw that. I ran out of the bathroom, hoping to go back to my classroom, but it was locked, and there was no way my teacher was letting me back in. I was panicking, so I kept going down the hall trying each and every handle I could. Finally, I found this other girl sobbing as she kept trying to open the same handle. I grabbed her hand and led her down my path as I kept trying doors. After only a minute, though it felt like hours, we found an empty computer lab whose door was open. We went inside and hid until the entire thing was over. The school tried to keep it hush-hush, but we all eventually found out a kid brought his dad's gun to school because he was mad. But he realized when he got to school, he didn't want to hurt anybody. He hid in the bathrooms and called the police on himself. Nobody got hurt, and I never really saw the kid again. I think the scariest part was the picture I was talking about earlier. I found out, after everybody figured out what happened, that it was his list. I was number 6. This story happened back when I was a freshman in high school. It took place during the whole clown epidemic. Some idiots in our area posted videos on Snapchat about threatening to come to our school and kill everyone on a Friday at 12 noon sharp. My school picked up on this and sent out warning emails to parents and planned a lockdown drill at 11:30 a.m. It was Friday, and I was sitting in math class. 11:30 on the dot, I hear the sound of the lockdown alarm. It's this loud, obnoxious blaring. My teacher closed the windows and doors, locking us in the classroom. If I'm being honest, I wasn't that freaked out because I thought the clown threats were just empty and held no weight. After about a half hour of sitting in silence, the flashes on the alarms went off. At the same time, so did the AC unit in the school, and it got super quiet. That's when the lights started flickering, almost like the power was going out. At this point, me and my classmates were staring at each other like, oh shit. We all knew something really was happening, and were absolutely terrified. After 10 minutes or so, we could all hear a faint banging noise coming from down the hallway, shortly followed by heavy and fast footsteps. They started banging on the lockers and screamed, "You're all going to die today." A bunch of girls in my class started to cry in the corner, holding on to each other. Then the most terrifying thing happened. One of the men, dressed as a clown, ran up to my class door, banging and screaming. Multiple people were crying now. One of my friends whispered to me, "Dude, I don't want to die." I tried to be strong for him and tell him everything's going to be okay, even though I didn't believe that. Then the banging on our door stopped. The man had moved away, and his screams slowly faded down the hallway. After another hour of sitting in silence and not knowing what was happening, our principal came on the loudspeaker. He said that 2 men had come into the school dressed as clowns with knives and a camera. Police then raided our school. They ended up catching one of the clowns, but not the other. Thankfully, no one was hurt. After we were all sent home, we were told to tell police if we saw or heard anything suspicious. I had a hard next couple of weeks. I kept thinking that the second man would return with a gun or something, but nothing happened. The second one, as far as I know, has not yet been caught. It's been some years now. I'm not even sure if they're still looking. Since then, the school has hired a few on-campus police officers and have installed some auto-locking features on doors and windows when the lockdown alarm goes off. It was a terrifying experience I'll never forget. So, shit went down at my elementary school a while back. We were just chilling on the playground after lunch when the teachers started freaking out. They herded us inside like cattle, saying it was no big deal, but their scared faces said otherwise. We all had to sit down out of sight from the doors and read for what felt like forever, like almost 2 hours of sitting on our asses and pretending everything was cool. They handed us letters to take home, and being the nosy kid I was, I read that shit on the way home. Turns out, some psycho dad kidnapped one of his kids at gunpoint from another school nearby. And get this, he was on his way to snatch his other 2 kids from my school. The guy didn't even have custody, and he was planning to haul them out of the state. After he kidnapped his first kid, the school called up every other school in the area. Cops were waiting for this lunatic when he rolled up to my school. He surrendered without a fuss, or so they say, but he had a damn gun. Imagine being a kid thinking you're safe at school, and then finding out some lunatic is gunning for your classmates. Yeah, that was my day. I bet those kids had nightmares for weeks. Hell, I did too, and I wasn't even involved. Just the thought that some nut job with a gun tried to ruin our little elementary school bubble messed with my head. The whole thing was surreal. And for what? Some deranged dad thinking he could play hero and take his kids away from everyone who was trying to protect them. They said it was fine. They said we were safe. But when you see adults who are supposed to have their shit together looking scared as hell, it messes with your head. I'll never forget that day. The day our school turned into a damn crime scene. And the next time someone tells me it's just a lockdown drill, I'll remember the fear in those teachers' eyes and know better. Nothing prepares you for the real deal, for the moment you realize that all those lockdown drills are preparing you